Holy frick. Wow. At first, I thought this was a scene from the fictional movie V for Vendetta, but no, this is a legitimate video sent out from the Home Office as an official representative of the UK government. And yes, the British cops are bragging about bringing fully suited riot cops to small family gatherings. Riot cops who, of course, aren't social distancing, crashing into the front of your door, into your house for the crimes of not social distancing. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. A lot of very important news to get into today, especially with very interesting news coming out of Australia, where on Facebook now, promoted, paid-for Chinese state propaganda surrounding Bill Gates is allowed, but the news isn't. Bill Gates is also in the news a lot lately. He has been very vocal about what's happening in Texas and has a new medical recommendation that, of course, a large portion of the U.S. mainstream media unquestionably agrees with as well. So yeah, lots of information to get to, and I'm still flabbergasted at this video from the government of the United Kingdom that's warning about baby showers. And very interestingly, a lot of people are pointing out in the comments section that a lot of this enforcement, especially in the United Kingdom, is done not under the law, but under advice from some government officials, which, let's just be honest here, is utterly ridiculous. Here in the United States, we are not faring any better, as police officers in one of the cities that is becoming more and more violent by the day, in Portland, are now deciding to, yes, this is not a misprint here, this is not the Babylon Bee, to guard dumpsters filled with food. All of this as nearly 100,000 Oregonians are going without power. 14 police officers are dispatched towards a grocery store where they are threatening to arrest people that want to save wasted food. And with government officials literally stopping people from eating during a national emergency, or other government officials in the United Kingdom busting down your doors for having a small family gathering, it's important to remind people what voluntarism is, and if we just decided not to hurt each other or take stuff from each other, things would be a lot simpler and better. Justifying a big bloated government that psychologically uses the emotion of fear in order to manipulate and control you into voting for the lesser of two evils, and justifying this larger use of force to push the ideas of a few, is something that has pretty much always historically happened. So I think maybe we should give this kind of larger idea a try. I might be a little naive or just too optimistic here, but hey, in the larger context of this news organization, this is the bigger ideas that we stand for, and if you agree with it, you're at the right place. And to keep operations up and running, especially since we've been demonetized, we started to work with companies that we like, that I think you would like as well, and one of them is Pro One. I like these water filters, I use them myself, and if you're not a fan of things like fluoride or microplastics, I suggest you check them out. They have a 30-day back money guarantee, free shipping. You could even see their own independent lab reports about all the nasty stuff that they filter out of your water just by clicking the link in the description below and finding more about them right now. So yeah, thanks for doing that. Now, something very crazy is happening right now in Australia, where people are waking up and finding out that on Facebook, not only isn't the news available for them, but also health and emergency services, charities, trade unions, sports groups, comedy groups have all been banned on Facebook. Yes, even including vital emergency services. After, of course, one of the largest corporations in the world has a big ongoing public fight with the government of Australia. Now, it's important to note here that Facebook issued a statement and said that their ban on government pages and essential emergency services was accidental and that they will be restoring those services. But of course, this is all happening after a new law passed in Australia allows companies to negotiate fees with Google and Facebook if they want to procure their content. The response by Facebook to this was to literally mute almost all of Australia, which many government officials in Australia are calling a, quote, assault on a sovereign nation, with some people saying that this is tech giants showing that they are bigger than the government. Some government officials went as far as to talk about the sick double standard that is exemplified by Facebook, which they accuse as the, quote, perfect platform that hurts children in unspeakable ways that we can't even mention here on this YouTube channel. And while the news from Australia is blocked in Australia, right now, Facebook is allowing and actively taking money from Chinese government-connected propaganda outlets that are running ads on the platform denying any crimes against the Uyghur Muslims in China, and other articles promoting the relationship between Bill Gates and, of course, the Chinese Communist President Xi, and their letters that they keep sending back and forth to each other. That is something that, of course, the Chinese state wants to promote. And Facebook, which is, by the way, banned in China, sharing communist Chinese propaganda while banning an entire country from its news, I think is perfectly indicative of everything I've been warning people about for a very long time. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. But today, a lot of people are realizing that this company is far more powerful and influential than many have previously thought before. And that's why there's a massive campaign to, quote, hashtag delete Facebook right now, which of course is going viral on Twitter, as many people are moving away from this big Facebook social media giant and moving to other alternatives. Personally, I would suggest Telegram and Signal. Our Telegram is down in the description below. Check it out if you're interested to see what we're posting there. Since, of course, our posts on Telegram that has 8,500 people on it reach way more people than our Facebook page that has nearly 600,000 followers. So yeah, for right now, Telegram is definitely the way to go. In my own personal opinion, click the link down below to find out more. Now, in other news, it definitely looks like the situation in Texas is worsening, as even some hospitals are being evacuated as patients are being left without water, without heat, with another big winter storm. It seems like now, whenever there's a crisis or tragedy, the first thing people do is, of course, try to exploit it for political brownie points rather than, actually help the people in crisis. And I think this is perfectly exemplified by what's happening in Texas, which we have to say was unprepared for this entire situation. We have some people on the right saying this is all mainly because of the windmills. We have people on the left saying this is because the gas lines weren't insulated. Bill Gates is taking his shots here. And of course, the mainstream media push us as talking points without question. And now Bill Gates is coming out and saying that it is false and actually wrong to blame the state's blackouts on the wind turbines. Now, I think it's very fair to say that it is in part of the wind turbines, but not the only cause of this. The situation, of course, is very complex and highlights something that we've been preaching here as one of our core principles: self-responsibility. Since, of course, when a disaster strikes, you're left on your own, and you shouldn't depend on government. Nothing in life is ever consistent, and we need to understand we need to be personally responsible for ourselves. I think this is definitely the most important lesson that a lot of people are being slapped with the reality of, especially after the sickness in 2020. Which, by the way, as we've been reporting to you for weeks now, has been dramatically going down, which is a good sign overall, but by and large, it's not receiving a lot of fanfare in the mainstream media. And cases are not just going down in the United States, they are also falling globally, as many experts and even people on CNN are saying that this is not because of the shot, but because something else is happening that we don't understand yet. Even the U.S. President's advisors on this specific matter can't explain why the numbers are going down in places like California and Florida, when, of course, California has heavy lockdowns. Florida is open. 2 different states, 2 different approaches, but the numbers are going down dramatically in both of them. Statistically, some people would argue that Florida is doing even way better than California, and similar things could be said about Sweden, that is also seeing their numbers dramatically go down comparatively to the United Kingdom, that also loves lockdowns and riot police officers to break down your doors for your small family gatherings. Severe, extreme lockdowns in the United Kingdom, and the numbers aren't plummeting as fast as they are in Sweden. Really tells you something, especially in places like New York, where that state is seeing the nation's highest per capita hospitalizations. Massive lockdowns there. Massive abuse of power by the government there. And when you compare the tale of New York and Florida during this entire saga, absolutely the government officials in New York should be ashamed of their actions. Some of them should even be criminally prosecuted, according to many legal experts, for their dereliction of duty that has led to tremendous human suffering, the cost of that is insurmountable. Now, of course, this raises a lot of questions. How are even the numbers calculated here? We even recently had on the BBC information from one of their pundits talking about how any positive test for the sickness in 2020 within a span of 4 months is counted as an official death from the sickness. I retweeted this, by the way, so if you wanted to see it, go to twitter.com/LukeWeAreChange if you want to see this exact video of what I'm referencing here, which is actually important to look at. But as New York is failing and the numbers are still up in the air, especially since the New York government tried to hide them from the public and the federal government, we are now finding out that the FBI is launching an investigation into Andrew Cuomo, as of course he is threatening assembly members and politicians in New York that he will destroy them if they don't say favorable things about his policy that has led to insurmountable human suffering and death. In related dereliction of duty news and not doing your job and making the situation worse off for everyone else, we of course have the latest news from China, as government officials there are pushing a theory that the United States should now be the focus to find out where this sickness came from last year, as of course they have denied World Health Organization officials access into their countries for a number of months, almost totaling a year, until they said yes. Officials had 3 hours in the level 3 lab, and then determined to puppeteer the official Beijing talking points and lines, which the World Health Organization regurgitated. And with all of this happening on the world stage, Bill Gates thinks it's a great idea and it would benefit the world if China and the United States would, quote, cooperate with each other, specifically to, of course, address the next crisis, according to Bill Gates, climate change. In the United States, government officials and, quote, experts that the mainstream media loves, like Dr. Fauci, are doing as poorly as, of course, the World Health Organization, as Dr. Fauci now also changed his mind and said now that a shot will be available for everyone in July instead of April, as of course he was promising everyone the shot in April just a few days ago. The shot, by the way, that of course a previous businessman that is known for his ruthlessness and creating unfair market conditions that allowed him to have a monopoly on the business that needed to be broken up by the government, that is also one of the world's richest people, that owns huge villas, properties, private jets, luxury car collections, beachfront property, is now telling you that you will probably need 3 shots. Yes, Bill Gates just came out recently telling everyone that they will need 3 shots to fight the sickness and its variants. This, of course, as UK health officials are warning pregnant women and children not to take the shot. In the United Kingdom, there are also some government officials calling for a shot passport, which looks like already has been implemented in Israel, as now many gyms, shopping malls, and public spaces are mandating that if you want to enter it, you will need to show a green pass showing that you did get this shot. The Vatican is following suit, announcing that they will fire anyone who decides not to take the shot, as of course private businesses in the United States also have taken similar measures, as a woman was just fired in New York after having concerns about a potential pregnancy and the shot. It didn't matter to a New York restaurant that fired her for these concerns and not doing what Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci want her to do. People in the U.S. military are also skeptical, as we're getting reports that thousands, up to 1/3 of all troops, are also personally deciding that the shot is not for them. Some people would argue my body, my choice here. Others would disagree with that, but where do you stand on this issue? I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. I think I already know where the majority of people stand on this issue. Skepticism in this modern day and age is definitely your friend. Just because someone is rich and powerful and has influence and the mainstream media regurgitates everything that they say doesn't mean that they're always right. And that's why being able to critically think, look at the evidence yourself, make up your own mind after listening and talking to professionals on both sides of an issue is one of the most important things that you could do as a human being. That's what we advocate for. That's what we stand for. And if you like it, share this video with your friends and family members. If you think there's other ways that we could conduct this better, also let us know. We're open to projects. We're open to new ideas. We're open to doing things differently here, as of course the name of this independent media organization is literally called We Are Change, and it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you liking, sharing, commenting, and getting this video out there to the general public. And because you do, I'm still here, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.